Because of the events of the past few years, everything has changed. But really, nothing has changed. When planning for the future, it's always been critical for you to put many factors together, to mix them together and find the best combination of skills, people, passion, plans, and potential in order to plan well for the future. That hasn't changed, and it never will. Well, let's discuss. Welcome to Legal Marketing Minutes, where I share short bursts of current marketing news and advice. I'm your host, Nancy Myrland. If we haven't met, I'm a marketing, business development, content, social, and digital media speaker, trainer, and advisor for lawyers and legal marketers. Your time is valuable, so let's get started, okay? Well, we need to talk about the people that you need to surround yourself with, and these are dreamers, doers, and deliberators. You need all of those parties at the table to survive what we have been going through and what we're going through right now. We're still a little bit in the middle of this. It's really hard to tell because we're not sure what's going on right now with the variant. But as I mentioned a moment ago, everything has changed, but nothing has changed. And the need has always been there for you to dream about the future, to take a smart dose of the past and fold in the reality of what's going on presently, and then try to cast a vision for the future. That's just what you do. That comes with the job. But to thrive past this year and next, you can't simply continue what you've been doing and expect it to be enough. The pandemic and the economy, as well as evolving client expectations, won't allow for that to continue. There's just too much that's going on, and there's too much that has changed. It's really all too easy to continue down the same path as you have for the past several years, because that path might have worked well for you. In fact, it might have been very profitable. But accepting the known of today will rarely result in the growth, innovation, client focus, and profit that you need to stand up and to stand out to the marketplace as being special. As Seth Godin said in a post, I copied this down back in December, mid-December last year. It was actually December 17th to be exact. Seth said, "For understandable reasons, we spend a lot of time trying to avoid blunders and minimizing mistakes. But if that's all that we do, we've given up the chance to do something magical. If you're working on the frontier, if you're leading, creating, or inventing, you've signed up for mistakes. That's the price of innovation." Well, Seth is right. Law firms might feel like they're in a convoluted episode of the Wild, Wild West right now. There are conditions that have been thrust upon you that are forcing you to sweep every bit of dust out of every corner, pull all the cushions out of every chair and couch, and to revisit every practice and purpose that exists, and to pull out the most innovative yet the safest course of action that will help guide your firms as you transition out of this unbelievable and odd time that we know as the pandemic. I mean, it's your time and it's your responsibility really to create something magical, as Seth said, to gather the bits of gold dust that you can find in your firms, to discover all of the coins behind the proverbial cushions, to rally the dreamers, the doers, and the deliberators into your actual and virtual boardrooms to, as Seth says, do something magical for this moment. You know who those people are, don't you? Let's talk about them, the dreamers, the doers, and the deliberators. The dreamers are those people in the firm who are usually positive and visionary, always thinking about the what ifs. They're dreaming about the future and how it can be for the firm and really for themselves too. They usually see the opportunity in the firm, they see it in others, and even see it in themselves. You need and want these people because they aren't typically wound up tight with fear because of having tried and failed in the past. They don't typically say, "Oh, we've done that and it didn't work, so we're not going to try it again." The doers are those you know you can go to when it's time to get something done, or who are always ready to implement. And sometimes they do, even before they're called upon to do so, because in their minds, they know it's time and it's the right thing to do. They can be those people who go by the ready, fire, aim method of living, running through life and or work, making decisions and implementing before seeking approval, being perfectly fine knowing they might have to deal with the ramifications later. All doers aren't like that, don't get me wrong, but some are. Their bottom line is that they aren't necessarily the visionaries or the dreamers, they're the doers. They're ready to go. And then we have the deliberators. Those are the people who want to take time to mull over decisions. They're wise and they consider every angle and the ramifications of going down different paths. And they can be irritating to the doers, but they're great to have around because they will sometimes help you see what others aren't able to see. They're pretty cautious and they're usually very caring. And you might find you need to provide a gentle nudge to help the deliberators to move forward, but not always. They're thinkers and they're planners. When you think about it, you need to bring all of these people together to help plan and transition. And this doesn't have to mean that what you are creating and what the decisions are for every moment, or that they're lasting, or that you can't change them. But they need to be right for this moment as you work through the remainder of this pandemic. I mean, your plans can, and they probably should change again in a few months or a year and 5 years, because just as it always was before the pandemic, the world changes every month, year, and 5 years. So, of course, your plans need to change too. This is one of those moments in time that is both a bit scary and really a bit exciting when you think about it, because you have the opportunity to bring as many of your people, the dreamers, the doers, and the deliberators, into the fold as possible to find out what they're thinking, doing, and feeling, and how the firm might want to adapt accordingly. And that means being willing to listen to people in every nook and cranny of your firm, not just lawyers, and to ask for, focus on, validate, and consider their ideas too, because your people are amazing and they're often able to see and suggest solutions that you might have missed because you're busy, or maybe that's not the way that you think. And you might also find that they reinforce ideas that you were already thinking about, which helps you move forward with even greater confidence, which is good. Sometimes you just need to hear it from somebody else. And also, you need to be ready to ask clients what they're thinking and what they're going through, what changes they've made because of all of this, and what they think about the changes you're thinking about making. I mean, they are the reason you exist, so they need to be a part of your board of advisors, whether you have a formal one, or maybe this is just a pop-up board of advisors every now and then when important discussions like this are taking place. They will feel a sense of ownership in you and the firm when you run these things by them and you let them help you make these decisions and validate your decisions. And they'll probably give you some really, really good ideas too that you might not have thought about. I mean, you're very, very smart people. You've been trusted with the management of your firm for a reason, most likely because you're a leader and you have the ability to bring teams and people together. I would say use this time to flex all of those management muscles, because what you'll find is that your path through or around this transition out of the pandemic will be much better informed. Your decisions will be sounder and they'll be more stable than not spending this valuable time considering all of your options, including what needs to be kept or what needs to be changed or just removed completely. And I have faith in you, and I wish you the absolute best working through this uncertain time. I'm always here if you have any thoughts you want to share, any questions you need to ask, or if you ever need another set of eyes and ears to walk through this time with you. Well, that's it for today's Legal Marketing Minutes. Please do me a favor and let me know your thoughts about this topic. If you're listening on a platform where you can leave a comment, please do so, as I'd love to hear from you. If not, you can always find me at my blog at myrlandmarketing.com, which is MYRLAND marketing.com. All right. Thank you so much for spending a few Legal Marketing Minutes with me. I know your time is valuable, so I always appreciate you spending a few of those minutes right here with me. Until next time, I'm Nancy Myrland. Take care.